Hello and welcome to another Let's Play. Me, GamerWolfSix of Shelter. Before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, you can get it for free on itch.io. But if you want to support the people that make this game and or get the news version earlier, you can go to Patreon, where I believe it's $5 a month. So, on the last Let's Play, we ran out of content again, but that consists of us not stopping Alon and Rune from, escalating, at which point they had a hard fight, which ended with Alon being pushed into the water, and I guess the water, did something to his dye because he's not actually a black wolf. He's albino. And now he's going to tell us his Barkstory. I mean, dark backstory. So, let us load. What was the last thing that happened? Was that August 10th? Did we not save it somewhere? I guess here. It's pink. Yes. And then they do all that fighting, and for some reason skips all that. Damn, I am usually good at that, but hey, it's a recap. With all their barking. And gosh hecking darn it. Burry and Monet. Bad dog. You'd think after their banging session that they would, be a bit more chilled out. His curse of albinoism. Ooh. Gosh, hecking darn it. It is kind of weird when when the skip goes away. Coolest, edgiest guy. He has knives everywhere, including certain places. I could have sworn I saved some point, but it is what it is. Yes, I'm curious. Please tell me. Your Barkstory. Reset face. Alon sighs, slowly slips back into the hot water. He sits down with his eyes closed, letting the silence and suspense linger. Yes, that's my Alon, with his usual knack for theatrics. My heart pounds my chest as all four of us stare back at the wolf in anticipation. It feels like we're about to bear witness to something truly monumental. Whatever it's going to be, Alon is correct. I am ready. With his eyes closed, he slowly takes a deep breath, and then he speaks. Fourth Howl. Listen to my tragic Barkstory. The call to honor. And that's what we might choose as the episode title. This may be our last chance. Aw, he's so cute. Just look at him, his pure white fur, those big cheeks like two puffy clouds. And a pure heart to match. Wait, Doom Moon the Warrior. I guess Rune Moon's incarnation. General Doom Moon. At ease there. I do not fault for your bout of excitement. Everyone in the Crimson Royal Grove is united in this feeling. You would have not to be a canine to remain stoked today. You would have not to be? Might be a typo. This thing just came out. Also, Reese coffee? My throat might be a bit. I can see you're warming up to your new life in the palace, Rudy. Is Rudy, the guy that was, Rune Moon's caretaker? Yes. Yes, General. Ha, good boy. I won't be called good boy. Hey, Gunnar. Why are you waiting behind the door? Come closer. Meet your new master. He's so small. Adorable, isn't he? He'll grow up to be the most beautiful wolf in the whole history of our proud nation. And the strongest, the wisest, I just know it. Who become the white canvas of hope for our country. Until that day comes, it's our responsibility to protect his purity. Ours together, the small folk and the state alike. One day soon he will rise as the ruler of us all, but until then, he shall be not unlike a son to every canine in the kingdom. So he is the prince. I still clearly remember those moments from my life's earliest days. Every word, every face staring down at me. Servants and hardened warriors alike, all breaking into tears. Everything is fresh in my mind, as if it happened yesterday. I love you. I forgive you. This time, I'll save us both. Interesting. He lifted me in his hands, laughed through tears of joy. I giggled with him when he pressed his nose against mine. Aww. Then, so many hands brushed against my head, scratching behind my ears. Numerous wolves and dogs approached me just for single touch. They said things. Called me cute, beautiful, adorable, compared me to clouds and flowers. And I shared in all their joy. After all, I was just a newborn pup. I didn't know any better. I couldn't know that was only the taste of an unbearable nightmare that was going to be my childhood. So, a month turned to seasons, and seasons turned into years. They... Wait. Hold up. Rudy, Gunnar, Dune Moon? Are you serious? Those are all... So it's true. You are the Lost King. That is simply unbelievable. Oh, shut up. That's not the important part. It's not part of my dark Barkstory. No, dude, that's pretty important. Honestly, I didn't think you would open up with a revelation like that. That's the kind of juicy bit I'd expect you to tease us throughout the whole story, and then reveal it with a bang. Well, there aren't that many albino wolves in the Crimson Royal Grove, so... None that I know of, actually. It's extremely rare trait, and very much associated with the true king's incarnations. Stop calling me king, you fat doofus. Yes, Burry, treat him like you always do. He's still the same Alon you know and love. Well, no. Or hate. I'm not fat. I'm actually lost weight recently. I bet being called the K word must be a sore spot for you, Alon. Sorry for the heated gamer moments. After all, you chose a different life in the end for some reason. All of us come from kinda hot, rocky beginnings. The start of your life seemed to be bright and joyful, but I'm sure it got a lot worse over time, right? Indeed it did. As months turned to seasons, and seasons turned to years, my childhood only continued to grow more and more miserable. Pray climb on my back, young master. I couldn't bear to see your fur soiled in the mud. Stop it, you oaf. You have sap all over your armor. Please, your majesty, follow me. The big gray wolf general took his own shining clean cloak off and fastened it to his chest like a cloth carrier, before kneeling in front of me with a salute. Back straight, head held up. Our whole group stood and waited for me to climb into Gunner's makeshift pouch. All of the guards, leaders, scholars, and emissaries from the Surian kingdom. The whole procession halted just to ensure that my beans didn't touch the mud puddle in the middle of the path. Beans. And yet, I stood and stared at it, curiosity tingling at my childish mind. So, being a curious pup as it was, I asked an innocent question. Pray tell, General, might it be true that the whole poly find their amusement in wallowing in such mire and muck? Hoi polloi. I say, most intrigued I am about the peculiar charm of such distinctly plebeian diversions. I said, to heartfelt cooing of the people around me. Sorry for interrupting you again, but what? What the heck is hoi polloi? Is that a kind of derogatory term to refer to common people? Wow. Okay. How old are you? 60? Ouch. 1 year and a half. Not even that. Do these guys age in dog years? That'd be terrible. What? No. Yes, for whatever reason, I was born with full compression, whatever, of language. Comprehension? Comprehension. That might be another typo. Oh, maybe it's not that he's like 1.5 now, but 1.5 then. With the vocabulary of an educated adult. Comprehension. Oh, maybe you meant comprehension. You said compression. Oh, shut up, you nerd. Go eat a book, you. The point is, I could understand everyone from the very first day of my emergence. Oops, they tapped. The only reason I couldn't speak right away was because I still had to wait for my vocal cords to develop. Once they did, I constantly amazed everyone around me with big words whenever I opened my mouth. You have no bloody idea how painful it is for me to speak about those parts of my life out loud. Oh, okay, don't feel bad. It's important. The important thing is, you eventually grew out of that, sort of. I know quite a few people who never did. There's no way you were not paraphrasing those events to some extent either way, though, right? What I mean is, it would be impossible for you to recount every single word, every detail. There must be an element of improvisation in your recollections. You underestimate my trauma, oh fat one, the scars of my soul. I'm not recounting those memories. I am like a living canvas. In each of those tragedies is paved upon me with those mental scars. I merely read their words out loud. They are as clear to me as if they're written in black ink or in blood. I wonder if he has that ability also. One sec. Where it's not just like he. You know, that one thing that I'm not sure if it exists, but like you have memories from the very start or even before then. And also the thing where it's like, hey, you can recall everything. So of course, I'm being accurate. Every syllable, the intonation, all of it is exactly the same as the day they were spoken. But for sure, for your sanity and mine, I could consider paraphrasing to match our dumber vocabulary. Your. Much appreciated. So, say, General, is it true that the pleb rolls in the mud and feces for fun? I've been wondering about that. I said, to the heartfelt cooing of the people around me. It wasn't just the idea of their king acting like a common dog that amused them. It was mostly the fact that it was a tiny pup speaking. They found it both impressive and cute, so they drank in my every word with reverence. I wagged my tail, happily with the attention, and, while the canines admired me starstruck, it was one of the lizard guests who finally stood forward. Oh, my king, in my country, the purity of white scale is a good omen for all members of his clan. To soil your precious white fur would be a true tragedy, not just against our fortune, but also against our very souls. Because, as you are, my king, you are undoubtedly the cutest puppy in the whole wide realm, and that is a miracle we simply have to beg you to let us protect. The wolves and dog servants all around me smiled and wagged their tails at that. Even the Komodo Dragon Clan's guests wagged their tails in joy, which is kind of weird, because I don't think they do that, but anyways. Only General Gunner didn't wag his tail, stoic as he was. Still, even he smiled and gave me a respectful nod. Respectful. And I didn't object any further. They beamed and cooed as they watched me climb onto his red cape pouch, and I was overjoyed as the people around me. Yes, that was my childhood. Surrounded by coddling service dogs, overprotective guardians who would literally die for me rather than let a single scratch fall on me. I slept in the softest of dog beds, ate the tastiest treats, chewed on the chewiest toys. I never knew hunger or solitude, as my mind was still that of a child. The greatest minds of our country and beyond tutored me from an early age in preparation for my role. Yet even those mentors were mindful of my mental well-being when choosing what to omit from the teachings, too carefully even. I was still a pup after all, and their highest priority was to protect and nurture my purity. Most of the time, I was allowed to simply be a puppy. I had a designated playground within the castle, and I never ran out of guests to play with. I was such a happy child. Every night, it was hard for them to put me to sleep. I was so excited for the next morning. Yes, it was truly that awful. Hardship was literally an alien concept to me, a fantasy. And, worst of all... Why are you all looking at me like that? You think I'm exaggerating? Well, I'm not. Everything I say is true. Sure, I can believe that. But, Alon, none of those things seem particularly bad? Yeah, I guess we're just wondering where the tragic part is going to start. What do you mean? It's right there. How can you not? I meant, sir, even knowing your circumstances, I must say that the way you tell your story makes it sound like you were simply spoiled. Of course you wouldn't understand. Each and every one of you was blessed with relatively normal lives. Well, my fate was unique, it was. Heh. Yes, fate. It seemed like my whole life was already paved before me, and didn't even need to work particularly hard to walk it. At every step, I had the smarter and stronger dogs to help me grow into my oversized, gem-encrusted robes. I knew their love and care weren't a deception. They made me study canine empathy from an early age, and people's souls seemingly held no secrets from me. Yes, as the years passed, and my childhood slowly drew to a close, I felt like my understanding of others developed faster than the comprehension of my own self. Yet even that was a lie. In reality, I was the most ignorant canine in the whole country. The path towards the truth was painful and long, and its start would be delayed even further, if it wasn't for him. Why are you pointing at Burry? You guys know each other? Well, not like, you may not remember. It was almost 2 decades ago. No, I do. Forgive me, it's still hard for me to believe it's truly you. We met only 2 short times. After rising to the Grove's underground scholastic ranks for several long years, I decided that my presence would be it was decided that my presence would be elevated to a public representative. So, I was awarded the Ruby tag and a significant rise in my station for one of my greater breakthroughs at the time. I do not wish to go into the details of that project. Lots of dead puppies. Not that I knew the detail at that time either. Yes. But as guilty as that makes me feel, I shall never forget the day of the ceremony. It was like something out of a fairy tale, and I memorized every step of it. With all of my colleagues present in the hall, you asked, "Who is a good boy?" And then I tilted my head and stared into your red eyes. You said, "You are. Yes, you are." Patting my head 3 times. Then you granted me the tag with your own pink beans. Funny. I had my name on one side and yours on the other, along with the castle's address and... Oh my. Forgive me. I can't help but get emotional. Oh, for heck's sake. Next day. I meant our meeting for the next day. Oh, right. Of course. Yes. I was in my quarters after the ceremonies concluded. I was supposed to venture out towards the corrupted Borderlands for samples of the next day, so I was lost in my preparations for that. If my memory serves me well, there were some sort of complications in regards to supplies we ordered for our expedition. They were stolen by thieves, yes, and I had to see that. I was surprised to suddenly receive a note from the king himself. He requested my presence the next morning, before my leave from the capital. Indeed, I did. When I arrived at the gardens, you were already there, waiting. Oh, I guess he has like a big backpack? Yeah. You seemed nervous, pacing so impatiently with your backpack almost as chunky as you are. The moment you saw me approaching, I felt tension disappearing from your mind. Your ears turned red, and your lips moved in a wordless, "He's so cute," before you shook your head and bowed. He's so funny, I thought to myself, without saying it out loud. So round, with those squinty eyes. Does he have so much fat on his face that he can't even open his eyes anymore? Can he even see anything at all? I wondered, but I would never say something so rude to his face. My humblest awoo, your majesty. Greetings, Tangleroot. At ease, boy. Thank you for coming to see me before you leave. Of course, I would not dare disobey. Your word is law. I know. And it's not like I would want to disobey. I live to serve you. Yes. What I mean by that is, just to be absolutely clear and transparent, that this is an incredible honor for me, and a dream come true, having met my master in private. It is, isn't it? May I just say, your majesty, you look absolutely stunning today. I mean, beautiful and elegant, so shining pure. Golly, what an annoying tool. I thought to myself, starting to regret my decision. However, I still put on a reassuring smile. Most of the dogs and wolves... I think he's going to explode. Oh, okay, stopped. I interacted during my childhood with were much more composed and calculating. You were mature for your 15 years old at the time, but still not a true adult. Even with 7 years of difference between us, I had felt I had more in common with you than most of the canines in the grove. You had to work for your tag, sure, but in a way, we were both puppies of the station. I felt I could talk to you about things I couldn't with the gray-muzzled mentors. I said at ease, Tangleroot. Or perhaps I should call you Burry? Would you like to be friends, Burry? Your mouth gaped open, and, for the first time, you opened your eyes. You were shocked. In your excitement, I clearly recall you even peed yourself a little. Not much, just a few tiny drops, but I could both see it and smell it, even though I chose to stay quiet about that to avoid embarrassing you. Instead, I pointed at the marble bench and gave us both a sit command. You nodded and hurriedly flopped down on it, trying to cross your legs to hide the stain on your crotch. But apparently, you forgot you still had an overpacked backpack on you, and you tripped over and fell back like a log. You grunted and flailed your limbs helplessly, like a clumsy shell-clad monster, unable to get up. I was so... Oh, I guess that's him doing stuff. I was so surprised by your stupidity, I literally blanked out for a moment. With you still flailing on the ground, I... Stop! Just stop! Could you please skip all of that and just get to the point already? What do you mean? I mean, why are you focusing on all those insignificant details? How could they possibly be important? I almost managed to push that memory out of my mind. Excuse me, I thought you wanted to hear my story. I'm merely recounting the important day that it was, the good and the bad. Do you want the full truth or not? I may start withholding information if that is what you wish, but what if I skip something crucial by accident while doing that? Ook. Insists on everything. Sorry, man. Good. So, as I was saying, you were there, grunting and performing your interpretative dance on the lawn. Wow, I struggled to even put my mind together. You were so pitiful. So, I did what I would always do in situations like that. Despite your desperate pleading not to call anyone, I summoned the guards to assist you. Hearing the chuckling of approaching armored dog, or clinking of approaching armored dogs, you twisted and strained with doubled effort, almost getting enough purchase on the ground, but being just a little short of flipping. You pushed yourself as hard as you could, and as your straining reached its peak, you broke wind. Loudly. Tangibly, even. Wow, that was... At the time in my life, I was yet to learn that a rotting corpse smelled like, but once I eventually found out in the future, my instant thought was, oh my dog, this smells exactly like that day I met Burry Tangleroot. It truly was that vile. That one experience rooted myself into my impressionable puppy mind so strongly it became a scale I forever measured everything disgusting to. You know, they say that embers are spells crafted out of one's person's core experiences, as a accumulation of key moments in one person's journey. I truly believe that one of many reasons why Dances with Wolves is so powerful is because you engraved yourself upon my soul so deeply with that one unforgettable instance. What's Dances with Wolves? Is that when he, does a whole bunch of slashes and fires? I don't know. You showed me the first glimpse at the bark cruelty of this world. My very first experience in carnal pain. What? Isn't carnal supposed to be horny? Never to be matched to this day. Your Majesty, what seems to be... Oh, my dog! What in the... You insolent mutt! You disrespect the crown! It's no mere disrespect. It's an assassination attempt. A regicide. You shall be put in a bag and thrown into the river for that traitor. Oh god, that reminds me of a memory of all those cartoons that, I lived in the 90s. And I guess cartoons were... It took me a while to learn that cartoons were made, decades before my time. But it was just amazing how many, references there were to, hey, you put animals in a bag and throw them in the river. And it's like... Because there's multiple instances of that in, Tom and Jerry, and just what the fuck? Bark, 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 bark! No, there'll be no need for that. But, Your Majesty. Jake, don't say but to your master. Oh, yes, my apologies. But, Jake! Down, boys. There's no need to get angry. It was actually I. I have released my royal pumpernickel, not Burry. Your Majesty? No way. That's terrible. Inorbant. How delightful, my king. So powerful, so rich. I watched as Niv took a deep whiff as if saving the aroma. His stomach viscerally convulsed as he quickly swallowed back whatever acid flew past his throat. Jake only stared at his colleague uncomfortably and chose not to follow suit. My deepest gratitude for bestowing such a gift upon us, Your Majesty. The roses around us cower in embarrassment, unable to even dream of matching the elegance and fragrance. And sorry if you're hearing like next door, because hey, we live in Texas, we got lawns, and you know, it's next door neighbor's lawn, people. Oh wow, you're right. They're literally writhing. Just help Burry stand back on his feet and be on your way. Oh woo. And so they did. It was quite a Herculean task, but luckily, they were both strong, muscular dogs, so they eventually managed to lift you, only with a bit of a struggle. They helped you take your backpack off and saluted us, and then went on their way to continue patrolling the perimeter. Kind of wondering if I want to cut here, because it's not really a scene in and of itself, but, you know, I'm just wondering if there's multiple things. I mean, we got time, I guess. It was just you and me again, sitting on the bench. You're so embarrassed, you couldn't even look me in the face. My apologies. Do not worry, Burry. It's all fine. One day, we'll be laughing about it. You and I. You'll see. This be our secret. Nobody in the whole Crimson Aura Grove will ever learn about this from my lips. I promise you that, my friend. I smiled at you and waited patiently until you raised your head. You seemed reassured by that. The tension of the long few minutes slowly dissipated, as if carried away by the wind, just like your fart. I hate you. It's fine, you'll get over it. Just like how I got over you throwing threats and insults at me every opportunity for the past few months here in shelter. After all, it's unhealthy to hold grudges, don't you think? Maybe we might cut it here. Because, you know, it's a scene of itself-ish. And, yeah, it was a big revelation. Hyena? I don't know, it's just... right, I think this is when we're like, hey, did we choose the right route? And that's a no. And it's October! So, sorry that I'm being a little pumpernickel here, but that's going to be the end of this Let's Play, especially since I myself have to break a wind. I mean, it do be like that. I don't know why. I've been having some pretty bad gas recently. Hey, I'm a wolf. It's what we do. So, end of this Let's Play. So comment, cause I like comments. Tell me what you like, dislike, tips, tricks, otherwise. If you like me, YouTube, and likes it, well, then please like, subscribe, and check out the videos too. Yeah, and please remember to spay and to neuter your animals to help control the pet population. Ooh woo. And if you want to play this game, it's available free on itch.io, but if you want to support the people that make this game and or get the news version earlier, you can go to Patreon, where it's $5 a month. And until next time, another Let's Play, me, GamerWolfSix, of Shelter. Now I gotta break wind myself. So, thanks and see ya.